you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest. We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it? He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close my ancestors speak, they tell me they're tired of them praying on us like we're weak. I haven't been getting sleep, longing to sing until I surpass peak, until they think we are equal. Please, all I want is peace. My ancestors beat drums until their palms would bleed, begging that generations remember our story.
What's good? What's good? What's good? Peace and blessings to everybody this Sunday. I hope all is well with each and every single one of you. Welcome to the King's Morning Table. I am your host, Deep Entropy, Last Door Writer's Creed. The list is long, but you should be familiar with me, at least right now. If you're not, get acquainted. Grab a seat, grab a chair, get comfortable. I'm absolutely honored and privileged to be with you guys one more day. 2024 is winding down. We're heading into a new chapter. Hopefully, we all can make it to 2025. A lot of people didn't. So, I mean, first and foremost, my thoughts and prayers to the families of those who lost people. Grieving, transitioning is never easy. Never. And so we got to take that into account when we are complaining or we feel some type of way about how life doesn't align with a lot of what we hoped it would, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Maybe it's just me, you know what I'm saying? We're going to talk here in a second. I want to get some bars off. Just share a little bit of my thinking, my point of view on reciprocity and things of that nature. Do me a solid though. Hit that like button on the way in. We're going to take our time with this. Let me send out my messages and Let's see. Just ain't right here. How's everybody doing though? You traveling? You going anywhere for the holidays? Doing anything special? Let's see. Let me get this right. All right. Yeah, we got a lot to talk about this morning. I don't even really know why. It's such a hard thing to grasp, or it's like such a difficult concept to really comprehend for whatever reason. But give me 1 second. I want to make sure that I got all of this how I want it before I even go into my thoughts. It's going to take me a hot little second. You know what I'm saying? Reciprocity is, it's something that I don't think a lot of people really honor or value very much. When you're trying to be a decent person, and you're not only providing for yourself, taking care of your health, your bills, your responsibilities, being a contributing factor to the community, when you're doing things from an honorable place, it's very freeing, and it's very tasking on the soul as well, because when you do things out of the kindness of your heart, and it's met with a person who doesn't really understand the severity or the significance behind the gestures that is being bestowed upon a person, it is very like frustrating. It's draining. It makes a person not want to do anything for anyone. When you're a kind person like that, you're going out your way to spend time with them. When you're going out your way to talk to them, to listen to them, to communicate with them, to chastise them, to think about them when they're not thinking about you, is very like annoying. It's like a it's like a pain in the ass, to be honest. When you don't have no negative intentions, you're really just being pure when you're pouring out. I don't know if people really understand this, right? It takes a lot of energy, a lot of spiritual energy, a lot of emotional, mental energy, strength to give Doesn't matter what it is that you're giving. Outpouring of any kind. Like, imagine this, thing about it this way. You go to work 5 days a week. Some people go to work 7 days a week. By the end of your shift, how do you feel? You're exhausted. By Friday, you beat. You don't want to do nothing. You just want to get out of them shoes, out of them work clothes. You want to lay down. You want to get in the shower. You want to relax. You're exhausted. You spent your entire week at the job pouring out all of your energy, taking bull crap from employees, doing extra work when somebody else isn't there. You got to fill in for other people. You got to watch your tongue. You got to be polite. You got to have discipline dealing with argumentative, combative people that come in and out of your establishment. You have to maintain and manage your own mental state while also performing to the best of your abilities to provide the services in which you signed up for. You have to do a number of things that is in that contract to make sure that you continuously get that revenue coming in every paycheck. You're drained at the end of the week. You got to deal with traffic. You got to separate your personal life from home and work, and then keep work at work while coming home. It's so much that gets pulled on a human being just in that sense alone. And it's like, even what you're doing, everything that you're doing on the job, everything that you're doing for your employer and for the customers and for the residences and for the tenants, everything that you do on a regular basis on average is already draining enough as it is. So now you get out of the workspace, you're tired, you're annoyed, you're irritated, you might want to drink, you might want to smoke, you might want to decompress. You have a number of different emotions that's going on with you. Fact. But what happens, right? You still got to deal with cousins, aunts, girlfriends, wives, sisters. You still got family you got to deal with. You still got friends that you got. And then you got folks that are just there to be taken from you. All they want from you is your time and attention. All they want from you is your resources, your ear. They don't want nothing outside of anything other than what they can get out of you. So you're constantly pouring out something. I think people pour out more than they actually pour into themselves. That's honestly how I feel. I think we invest more into trying to prove to the world that we are somebody than we are actually trying to prove to ourselves and prove to God that he's the one that's in control, that he is the reason for our existence and for everything that we have. I think we pour way too much into the wrong stuff. By the end of it, after you've given all of your hard-earned money, after you've sat on the phone for hours with people, after you've bought flowers and you've done all these extravagant things for family who are completely dismissive and unappreciative, what are you left with? You're absolutely drained. You're exhausted. You're all over the place. You don't have time to heal or re-energize or reset because everybody is coming at you. Let me get this. Let me hold $20. Let me hold $5. Girl, let me talk about what such and such did. Girl, let me talk about what. Girl, I need you to keep this secret for me. Girl, I need you to to lie and say that I did this and I did that. Girl, I need you to cover for me while I do this. I need you to do this. Or you got family that's always asking you to babysit, or you got family that's always asking you for advice and they don't never take your advice, so they always end up doing stupid shit. They constantly coming to you, trauma dumping on you, trauma dumping on you, trauma dumping on you. You sitting there telling it like, look, you want to do what you want to do, go ahead, but you see what's going to happen when you don't listen. They can do it anyway. They come back crying and complaining, crying and complaining, and you sitting here, this bitch will get the fuck out of my face. I'm so sick and tired. Like, but then like you flip the script. It's time for people to pour back into you. It's time for people to speak life into you. It's time for people to show you love, show you an expression of appreciation. It's time for people to say, hey, this is just my way of saying I was thinking about you. You didn't ask for anything. I just figured I just do something out of kindness of my heart because I think that you're a good person and you don't ask for nothing. Here's $100. Go ahead. Take the day off. I'll cover for you. I'll make sure that you straight. You good to go. Oh, I bought you a card. I bought you something for your birthday. People are selfish as fuck. People are selfish as fuck. But then in the same breath, the same people that's selfish, they be the same ones that complain that the world is against them, that the world don't care about them. They the same people that say that nobody is pouring into them, but you're the main ones taking from everybody. The main ones say you don't support them, you don't show them love, you don't show them affection. You just take. That'll drive anybody into somebody else's arms. That'll make anybody cheat. That'll make anyone walk the hell away from you, cut you off completely, not want to deal with you anymore. That would make any normal person say I had enough and dip out. Why would anybody want to stay around that type of shit? Who is actually going to stay somewhere where they're not appreciated? Who is going to stay somewhere where they're not wanted? Who's going to stay somewhere where you invest way more into their life than they do in yours? Where's the logic in that? How does that make sense? So not only do you have that 5 days a week you clock in and clock out, boss, co-workers, gas money, lunch, bills. Not only do you have to take care of yourself, but people expect you to take care of them too. I honestly don't think people care about reciprocity. I don't even think people know the definition of that shit. Do people really know what reciprocity is? What it means? Why it's important? Why reciprocity is necessary in the household? Do people really understand the impact that it has on a person mentally and emotionally? Does a person really understand what happens when people feel misled, lied to, manipulated, cheated on, disrespected, held under false intentions, gaslit? Do people really understand what you do to another human being when you take and take and take from them until they don't have nothing left, what it does to them, how it changes and alters their course. And Joy, I'm not mad at you. You got to do what you got to do to get where you're trying to go. My problem is that people don't know that we know that they know. I really believe a lot of people know, and it's our fault. It's a lot of our fault. The reason why people take advantage of you and the reason why people overlook you and do what they do to you is because you allow it. They know that they don't really care too much about you, but in the same breath, you allow it. You make excuses for it. You give them every single reason in the world to say, well, shit, you ain't saying nothing about it. You let me do it. You let me use your time up. You let me borrow and not give it back. You let me talk a hole in your ear and then cut you off and disregard your feelings about shit. You let me do it. So I'm gonna just assume that you're okay with it. Then in reality, you're not okay with it. Who's really okay with that? You give your heart and your soul and your entire livelihoods to people, trying to prove to people, trying to give love to people, life to people, elevate them, just put them in a better headspace, make them comfortable. You try to accommodate for all of their bullshit. But then in the same breath, it's like, what are you getting back in return? What do you get back in return? Are we really in real friendships? Are these people that you think are your friends really your friends? Are these people that you say are your supporters really your supporters? Do they really support you? Do they really like you? Are they really fond of you? Do they really communicate with you? Do they really reach out to you? Do they pray for you? Do they cover you when you can't cover yourself, when your body is beaten down and your mind is beaten down and you're worn out and you don't have the words to speak things that you need to speak? Do anyone step in the gap for you? A lot of folks that I thought were who I assumed they were not at all. People that I knew for years and years and years, they weren't the people that I thought they were. They were not friends. They were not meant to be my wife, my best friends, BFFs. They weren't even that at all. Families is not even really family for real. For real, we keeping it all the way a buck. Humans can be some of the shadiest, some of the shystiest, some of the most controlling people I've ever dealt with in life. So exhausting, so draining, so draining. You'll sit here and have full-on arguments with people about the wrongdoings or the lack of effort on their part, and they'll argue with you about their bullshit. How are you arguing with me about you falling short? How are you arguing with me about not doing what you're supposed to be doing? There's two people involved here in all cases. There's man, woman, man. There's a combination. There's always two people involved in any type of partnership, any type of friendship, any type of business dealing on social media, in real life, if you decide to watch a stream, if you decide to subscribe to somebody, if you decide to have a conversation with somebody, if you decide to make a promise or make a business transaction with somebody, if you decide to give your body to somebody, if you decide to love somebody or give your affection to somebody, you have ultimately said, this is what I signed up for. I understand the terms and the conditions. I am ready to meet them. I am prepared to meet them, and I will do my best to give to you what you would do offer to me, because I see something in you that you see something in me. And so because of that, here we are. That's how it's supposed to be. A bunch of users, a bunch of fucking users, a bunch of people who just take from you, and then they mask it, and they hide under this facade of I'm a blood relative, or I find you attractive, you find me attractive, so because of our sexual chemistry or our blood ties, that by default should eliminate any accountability held against me for not doing the shit that I'm supposed to be doing in this partnership or community or whatever it is. You're full of it. You're absolutely full of shit. All of them. All of them. Do people really know what reciprocity is? Do you know what it means? If somebody likes on one of my posts or likes on one of my comments or comments on one of my comments, you know what I do? I go to your page, I go to your post, I comment, or I like. Depending on what you did for me, I return the favor. If you show love to me, I show love back. That's how that works. If you show interest in what I'm doing, I show interest in what you're doing. If you're consistent, I'm consistent. You get what you give. You be safe on the road. Be safe on the road. Don't let anger and don't let the traffic get to you. Just try your best to have a blessed shift. I appreciate you for tapping in. But nah, real talk though. Y'all be in love with people. Y'all be in love with people who don't even love you back. They don't even give you the same type of love that you give them. And then you sit there and you end up crashing out over these people. You end up going through hell and back for folks that don't even give you the same type of energy. They don't even think about you when y'all get off the phone. They don't think about you at all. One lick. You'd be lucky if you hear from them. They can go weeks without speaking to you. They can go days without speaking to you. They don't have to text you. They'll leave you on red. They'll leave you on red the whole time. Leave you on red. And then after they leave you on red, they play this. Oh, I didn't see your message. I didn't see it. And you sitting up here sending them inspirational messages and quotes and shit. Good morning text, kiss emojis, sending them roses and flowers and praying for them, and you doing all of this shit for these people, going out your way, going from one end of the world to the next end of the world. You know what's happening? All of that shit that you're doing for them, they doing for somebody else. They give them everything that you want out of them. they give it to somebody else, and then you're sitting here frustrated trying to figure out why they don't love me. Why you don't even get you confront them, get on the phone with them, be like, look, what's going on, man? I be doing this and doing that for you. You can't even do this for me. You tripping. I think you just insecure. You don't remember when I called you you called me for your ass. You didn't call me for me. You called me for yourself. You called me because you were going through some shit. You didn't call me to check up on me. And this is how it always go. Remember when I did this for you? It'd be like one gesture out of fucking a year. These people will do something for you once or twice out of an entire year. And then when you get into a pushback with them, they'll be like, you don't remember this? If we really going down the list of shit, come on, man. What are we talking about? You did 1-2 things for me throughout a fucking year, and I damn near had to push you for that. Damn near had to stay on your helmet for that shit. So you mean to tell me I do 10 things for you out of a year? I do 10 things for you. That equates to, or that equals you doing one thing for me. So your one thing equates me doing 10 things. Fuck out of here with that.
Fuck you. Oh, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you.
You know what I don't want to do going into 2025? I don't want bloodsuckers around me. I don't want leeches around me. I don't want liars around me. I don't want ungrateful, unappreciative people around me. I don't need that. That's the problem with broken homes and why people don't trust people. That's why we don't really know who our friends really are and shit no more. That's why we don't know who our brothers and who our sisters are anymore. That's why we are so content on being by ourselves. A lot of people, including myself, I would rather be alone than to have just anybody around me, because a lot of folks be on some BS. Real talk. I'm good. I could screw myself over if for all that. If I wanted to be neglectful, if I wanted to be dismissive, I could just do it myself. Why would I want somebody else to do a job that I could do perfectly fine on my own? The whole point of having other people in your life is absolutely contrary to the belief that we are operating under. We're supposed to bring joy to each other. We're supposed to bring life, light, love, fellowship, spirituality, excitement, adventure, passion. We're supposed to do and operate from an entirely higher vibration than we do. But that's not how it works. So what really is going on is, folks, they would rather just siphon off of you anything that they can, because they know that you have insecurities, You're operating from a dark place. You're broken. You're not healed. You don't understand your potential. You don't understand that you are better than what people make you be. Society has lied to you. Your family has probably screwed you up. You're mentally not where you're supposed to be at. You're all over the place. People identify weak people. Folks who are sharks and wolves that do things because they just feel this need to be trifling. They will always prey on folks who don't stand for anything or don't have that covering or that relationship with God. It always happens. It never fails. But what they don't realize is, at the same token, while you're using and abusing people and you're doing what you're doing, God don't like ugly. God don't like ugly on nobody. I don't care how attractive you are. I don't care how intelligent you think you are. God don't like ugly. And so while you using people, what you think going to happen in return? See, this is why reciprocity is important. While being in your true form and being who you really are with yourself, within yourself is so important. Because when you have that synchronicity, when you're really aligned with another person, with values, with morals, when you're dealing with someone who can identify with your pain and with your struggle, or they can really comprehend the love that in the time that you put into a gift or a present, or when you have someone who can understand the meaning behind some of the most smallest things, the smallest gestures, when you have people who can relate to that, things are amplified 1,000 times over. The feelings are amplified, the emotions are amplified, the celebrations are more elevated, the smiles are more elevated. When you go out to eat places and go out to enjoy things with the other person, you enjoy it more because both of you can really grasp the idea of, we're in the moment. This is real. This is good. This is a good thing. Nobody is here with the intentions on stealing from the other person. No one is here with the intentions on using the other person. We have a good thing here. We can both laugh. We can both cry at this. We can both enjoy this. You get something from it. I get something from it. We're good. When it's completely the opposite, and it's always one doing more than the other. How many times have we been down this road? How many times have we seen this situation before? I know you've had a girlfriend or a wife, or you've had somebody that had a problem with you not doing or doing too much, or everybody has been in that position before at least once or twice. It don't feel good. And we're too grown, way too grown, to be playing around like that. Tell a person straight up what it is that you want out of them. I don't like folks who use people. How are you an adult? How are you an adult, but you can't be honest enough to tell a person, this is who I am, this is what I'm about? So what you do instead is, you would rather create a narrative, manipulate the situation to work in your favor, and hide behind this disingenuous persona that is not you. And then in the same breath, act like you the realest thing since sliced bread.
Cut it out.
I get tired of that shit. I get tired of hearing people talk about how decent of a person they are, but then in reality, you are no better than the next person who has caused havoc in someone else's life. But you want to claim that you're a human, that you're a good soul, that you're all this. Right. Okay. Interesting. So what is reciprocity? What does reciprocity look like to you? What does it mean to you? What's your counter to that? Are you going to tell me, well, I didn't tell you to do that stuff. I didn't ask you to go out your way to be kind to me. I didn't ask you to go out your way to do all of the extra that you did for me. That was on you. That's your fault. Nobody told you. Is that your rebuttal? Is that your counter? Because let me tell you, if that's really your only argument, you lost. You lost, and that's weak as hell, and that's not respected or honorable whatsoever. Like for like, share for share, comment for comment. Hell, I'm gonna have to do a separate video for this, but I want to address this too. You're not entitled. All right, you're not entitled to somebody returning love to you. All right. So most interactions are backed by some layer of self-preservation instead of being genuine. Yeah, exactly. Which is why I said, don't say you're a grown woman. Don't say you're a grown man. And then in the same breath, you have to hide behind a version of you that is not real. You might as well sign up for the WWE and become a professional wrestler. Go into sports entertainment. Because I'm not trying to hear it. And I notice a lot of people, after they've been used up or they've gone through things because of the karma that they've created for themselves, I've noticed a lot of times them be the same folks that always say, I'm a grown woman. I'm a grown this. I do all this by myself. I don't need this. I don't need that. But we already know what you're thinking up here and what you're thinking in here does not line up whatsoever. The heart is a lot more honest than what the mouth is. The heart will tell you the truth way faster than your thoughts in your head will. All you gotta do is pay attention. People are really they out of their mind, man. They absolutely are out of their mind. But I digress. I'll never understand how You just don't understand how draining and how exhausting it is. I gave you a scenario. You know what I'm talking about. Working all them hours, you get off. It's that, and then double it. I see. We got my partner in the building. I'm gonna pull him up real quick. I'm gonna let him cook for a second. Let me see. What's going on, sir? I'm bringing you up right now.
All right. How's it going? My apologies for my tardiness. I've just been it's been a crazy, crazy weekend. We just have a lot still going on.
Hey man, you here though? You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful for even that. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome, awesome.
I just kind
Everything
of spent. I kind of just spent the last 46 minutes talking about reciprocity, what it looked like, what it don't look like. Uh, just I wanted to just drive it in people's head that it's not one-sided. Reciprocity is not one-sided. It's not a give, give, give. You have to have a balance. Yeah, man. I'm gonna let you cook for a second. What are your thoughts on it? Does it look like? What doesn't it not look like? Uh, I don't know, bro. This
I
one
think
this one. Go ahead, go ahead.
right. I think it's always a two-sided thing, as there's always two sides to a coin. So reciprocate, you have to reciprocate when something is it's almost like for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. So it's never even one-sided, even if it appears one-sided, because there's always the other side of the coin, even if it's visible or not visible. So but the part we want, if it's the positive one, the required outcome, then it's a different topic. But it's never one. Nothing is ever one-sided, and it's always a give and take, left, right, two different sides of the same coin. So for every action you put out, there is an equal and opposite reaction coming forth for that, even without exerting any force to request it. It's a constant. It's almost like a universal law. So um, it's often draining, when it's one-sided and you just been taken from continuously, and you just take, and there's no reciprocity in that regard, and there's nothing coming back, and it's just often one-sided. It often leaves one part drained, often leaves one part drained, and the outcome of that is not usually a favorable one for both, because at the end of the day there'll be a pullback reaction, like, okay, enough of this. Then we always go the opposite direction. It's the law of physics. It always goes the opposite direction because it's not equal as it's expected, because it's always just one-sided. The other part of that will be negative, definitely. 9 out of 10 times it will be negative, and that's when you start getting all sorts of reactions. Oh, why is this the way it is? That's just my take on it, like my 2 cents.
I compared it to having a 9 to 5 and working for 5 to 7 days out of a week. On Monday, on Monday, you got all your energy. Your social battery is up here. By Wednesday, is probably right about here. By Thursday is here. By Friday is all the way down here at E. Because what I'm trying to get people to understand is we are individually living this life completely different than anybody else.
True.
We might have similar experiences, but we are individuals going through our own stuff. So if you factor in all the bullshit that we deal with outside of you on our own, then we bring somebody else into the playing field, it's double. The stress is double, the headaches is double, the frustration is double, the anger, the resentment builds, the bitterness builds. It's impossible. It's impossible to break your back, have your knees given out on you, old age, bills, all that. It's impossible to have all this going on here and then have to deal with somebody who don't give a shit about you on this side, taken from you, even though you're already pouring out as much as you are.
True. It often leaves a feeling of draining. I mean, and humans are just. I'm a believer that humans are just sometimes selfish by nature, and it takes uh, order and logic and reasoning to cut those aspects in the self, in the ego, because the ego is always watching out for itself, right? It's a me thing. It wants to survive. It wants this. It wants that. It's just all about itself, without regard for the other person or the system with which it's been taken from. So it's one of the lower levels of the survival traits. When you just not watering what's watering you back, you just taking from the system, then you end up drying it out. And what happens after that? There's nothing else to take from. It's dry. There's nothing else giving you that reciprocity you need, and you just empty. You dry it out. Then that leaves all sorts of resentment or all different kinds of feelings. Then whatever comes to mind, you do then because you feel you're taking back what's yours, what has been taken from you. Then you're on a rampage. You're on a vendetta to claim back what's been taken from you, and um, what's been taken from you, because you're now drained. There's nothing back. So I think a perfect system will be water me, I water you. A two-way thing will be what works. You water and you're being watered in exchange. Then that creates a balance. That creates a sustainable system on the long run. But whenever anything is always one-sided, it never ends well. That's not a balanced system. That's a system that's out of alignment, because it takes two to tango. This is doing this, then this is doing this, and coming together, we have a stable system. But in the case when it's one-sided, it never ends well. Even if it's in the case where the person is not aware of what's happening, subconsciously they might be aware, but probably consciously they don't know what's going on. But eventually, when they come to that realization, it's not going to be a very nice scenario.
No, no, not one bit. You know, like I know people who feel like it's okay. You don't realize that you're you're contributing to a person's mental stability or instability. It's almost as if putting a virus in somebody's computer, or you add something to an ingredient that doesn't belong there, and then a person ends up getting sick from it. Now, I'm not calling you a virus. I'm not calling you a virus, but you're kind of you're borderline,
Borderline virus.
because it's if you there's like a They're supposed to be like this ebb and flow, like a river or like just running water. It always kind of just stays in this flow where it comes and goes, but it always returns back to where it got sent off. It's not just going in one direction and never coming back. And it's important that we take that into consideration, because we can really be harming people without knowing that we're harming people, because it doesn't really seem like it's all that innocent, but it really is a dangerous application to me.
It is, and I think sometimes people do it unconsciously. Sometimes, so that's why it's necessary to like call a person out or take a stand when it's happening in such situations. Because I mean, you're supposed to think you're just extracting from the system. Okay, let me put it this way: like the amount of iron and natural resources that goes into creating devices, say mobile phones, for example. Every year there's a new version out there, and there's a new version, and the resources are being extracted from the earth. Now it's not being replenished in any way. You go, you take more from it, you extract all the metals, you extract the iron and everything from the earth, and it's not being replenished in any way, because the rate at which we're extracting it, it doesn't equal the rate at which anybody is doing anything meaningful to replenish the earth back. So then we have situations where we start having earthquakes and different kind of tectonic and movements on the earth, and we're complaining, "Oh, let's save the earth. Let's do this." That's just on a different scale. I'm just magnifying it on a larger scale now, and everybody running helter skelter talking about saving the world. No, now it's saving ourselves, because we have nowhere else to go when we finish depleting the resources we have here on earth, and everything is gone. Then we have nowhere else to go. So we are not replenishing in this case, and we're not reciprocating back to the earth, and we're just taking and taking and taking. So it's the same thing that still happens on, that's just on a larger scale. You know, when you keep taking from something and you keep just taking and taking, there's only one possible outcome from that, and it's not. There's only one outcome, and it's not a positive one. Definitely, it will always result in something negative. In whatever circumstance we put it, be it macro or micro, either way you put it, it's going to end up in something catastrophic. I mean, it's a system. The system needs both ends to make it balanced. It needs a positive, it needs a negative to make a balanced system.
Yeah. I want to touch on this other topic. How do you feel about forgiving infidelity?
Given what?
Forgiving infidelity.
Oh, okay, infidelity. I kind of have an unpopular opinion on that, actually, and I might be judged for double standards here, you know, for being one-sided when applying this. But the fact is, if we could drill in down this a bit, we'll see why it is the way it is. Now, from a male perspective, infidelity should be an unforgivable um, situation from the masculine perspective, and there are tons of reasons why that should be the case. And in the other way around, I think it's okay to forgive a cheating husband. I know they could come for me for being partial in this regard, in my judgment, but this is just my personal opinion, because both genders are different, as I always say, you know, and we ascribe different things and different standards. Now, your job as a female in a union, I mean, one of the number one most important thing is to stay loyal to the partner from the other side, right? You need to be a loyal, supportive uh, wife or girlfriend or something like that. I mean, it's one of the core principles basics of the union. The guy on the other hand is tasked with providing, protecting security. It's a constant. Say someone jumps in, a thief jumps in, or a burglar just jumps in your house while you're with your partner. You don't need the masculine makeup doesn't need to tell you. You need to jump in and do something about the situation. You need not be told like you need to protect your spouse. You need to do something about that. You need to block the assailant or render them useless or whatever. You need it's genetically wired in us to do that. Those are one of the non-negotiable uh, things you have to do as a man. So ours is non-negotiable for the guy, is non-negotiable. But for the female, there are a lot of things they could pass on just they don't feel like doing, and it's not. You can't take that to court or you can't do anything about it. You just have to roll with the flow when it comes to that, and be like, okay, she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to do that. So if when it comes to infidelity, I have a double standard approach to that. I feel if you would say the 1% guy, which is only natural for as honey to bees or honey, the 1% guy will always attract more of the opposite sex because I mean it's a man of affluence and relative means. It's just natural that those kind of situations will come to him if he's capable of handling it and doing it definitely. And in the other way, in the direction of this, the other side of this is from the female perspective, you owe him that to be loyal is one of the basic things you can actually give a man. You can't give him your money, obviously. A man has to be a man and provide and protect and all that, and provide shelter and clothing. But for the female, one of the basic things you owe him as a man is to be loyal. It's just almost non-negotiable for me. You can't, you can't forgive your way out of that. Once she's gone out the window and done some something that's just some fucked up stuff like cheating and all that, then it's a non-negotiable deal. It's a deal breaker, and it should be for most men that knows how the dynamics between a male and a female should be. It should be a number one deal breaker because when a guy cheats, it's for a different reason. Whereas when the female cheats is almost one reason that she's lost love and respect for you. That's it. That's what it boils down to. A guy could probably have a couple of broads. It's a physical thing, right? We only do that for two reasons: for pleasure and for pressure. The man is stressed, man. I need to get this up, and you just want to calm and get it off the system. That's for pressure. That's for him. And when it's for pleasure, it's for you. That's when the foreplay and all that comes into. It takes time, wants you to enjoy it and all. But when they do it on the other hand, she's lost love and respect. And she's checked out of that relationship. So even if she apologizes and say all sorts of things, or oh, like it was a mistake, no, you don't mistakenly do that kind of thing. There's no mistake there. It was a carefully thought out situation. You dressed up, you look pretty, you look good, you drove or whatever, you went over and had the action done. So I'll forgive him for me on the male side. That's why I say it's a double standard thing, right? It's a deal breaker for me.
I got you, bro. What's going on, man? How you feeling, man? Peace and
What's going
blessings.
on, fellas? Hey, I'm good, man. I'm blessed that I woke up.
Amen. Amen. Glad you could make it. So it was two topics that we were covering, right? The first one was about reciprocity. The one that we're on now is about forgiving infidelity. Is that possible?
You said the first one again?
The first one is about what reciprocity is,
Okay.
and the other one is about whether or not infidelity should be forgiven.
Yeah.
So, since it's three brothers up here, I figured this would be a good time to pick the brains of everybody just to see where everybody head is with that. I'll let you get your bars off, introduce yourself to the people, and first of all, Patrick, I'm gonna let this brother introduce himself to you. Vice versa, we just go into like a rotation, and yeah, go from there.
Awesome.
For
So I'm
sure.
Patrick. I'm an author. I think open-minded and like to break down the complex things of life. So I'm pretty open like a book.
Okay. I'm dope. I'm from Chicago. I mean, I'm like the same, bro. I'm here. Like anybody need to ask me anything, I'm always open to tell you, and I'm always open to like pick somebody's brain too. You know what I'm saying? I like to learn every day I'm alive, man. I like to learn something. Like my pops always told me, you learn something new every day, and I stick with that. So, hey,
Awesome. Nice to meet you. You're welcome to the show.
I appreciate y'all having me, man.
So
It's good to be on. My bad. It's good to be on the show with some brothers, though. You know what I'm saying? Like just somebody talking. You know, so I need this sometimes.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we all do. I don't think this happens enough. You know what I'm saying? Especially of our complexion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Every time for me personally, when I see somebody in these type of settings, they don't really know how to have these type of conversations without it getting messy and taken all over the place. So this is more or less to show that we know how to communicate. We do know how to have engagement, whether we agree or disagree. Our Discord can still be professional and still, be even keeled all across the board, unbiased, so on and so forth. So I mean, it's good to have you up here.
For sure. For sure. Now that first topic, I don't think I ever heard that word. Man, you had to fill me in on what's the definition of everything.
Reciprocity.
So
Yeah. Okay, I'll let you go.
no. So all right, reciprocity tip is basically when there's a fair exchange between people. Like if I am buying or thinking of you for your birthday and I get you something for your birthday, you do the same. If I'm showing any type of love or affection to you, I would at least expect you to do the same. It's almost like having like this yin and yang. There's a balance there. Like
Gotcha.
you're not going to get into you're going to get into a relationship with somebody and expect to do everything and you're not getting anything back, right?
Mm-mm.
So I just think it's basically like a fair exchange between two parties that is involved in whatever level it is, business, friendships, so on and so forth. That's just my take on it.
Okay. For sure. Yeah, I feel it. I mean, I do feel like relationships always be like you giving something, but you obviously always expect something back, but it's not always given. So yeah, if it's a fair exchange, everything be smooth. Relationships hard as hell, but when you always getting back what you put in, man, it make everything smooth. And then for friend relationships too, you know what I'm saying? Like even my guys that I know, like if we helping each other out, it's it's almost obligatory to have to give it back. I mean, even though you're not obligated, it almost feel that way.
I feel like it just should be common sense when you're in a setting like that.
That
You're taking from something. I mean, it's just common sense. You should reason like you can't just go depleting the system where you're not replenishing the system back, right? So you should, in all ramification that you have this something given to you, you should be logical and reasonable enough to give back to. Because when you keep taking from one, then you deplete the system, then there's nothing left.
for
Then you
sure.
are the next place to deplete the system again. Then you will leave a trail of depleted systems all the way and depleted and defunct friendships and stuff like that. So it should be wired like I know for some people it doesn't come like that and they're just so egotistical and so self-centered that they can't even think outside themselves to do the needful. And they just go like it's available. I mean, you go for it, it's right there, right? And they just keep picking just because it's available, whatever. And they keep just extracting from the system continuously. And at the end of the day, you only list one thing, and it's always negative output at the end of the day, always a negative end. It never ends well. Because at some point, you're going to revolt and be like, this is crazy. I mean, I'm human too. I need something back. As much as I'm a giver, I like to give and make everybody happy and all that, right? But man, I need something too. There are areas of my life that has lack and needs, which
Yeah,
if friends could probably fit in. But for the fact that he doesn't need it, this is cool, it's cool, and they just don't reciprocate and they just keep taking. I think there should be a standard for that. Like when you take 50% off something, you should replenish back with something.
for
You know.
sure. That make me think of a situation I had recently with my cousin, man. Like I'm a giver in full. Like I'm always willing to give energy. I'm willing to give time. I'm willing to give money as long as it's reciprocated back to me. But when it's not, then I'm gonna notice, and I'm not gonna blow up the first time, and maybe not the second time. But like when it start to get too much and I boil over, then it's like, all right, I'm gonna just let you know that you cut off, or it's just this relationship we got going on is just done. You know, it's like I can give, and then the person, like my cousin, we was having an issue because I keep giving, but every time I'm asking for something back, or I'm telling you like, you feel me, pay me back in time, or you feel me, like show me some other way that you can give this back to me. It's always an issue. So I just had to cut off that relationship. You know?
That brings a question. That picks a question in my brain like this. And I've seen this situation even in my personal life as well. Because it feels like once you're a giver, then automatically it feels like you don't need anything. Because there's this impression it creates in the brain, like since you're giving, you probably have everything. Then you don't need nothing. So people naturally don't give to givers, and I think there's something inherently wrong with that, because when you give in and they give you this, they ascribe this image to you of complete abundance, like you don't need anything. Since you're always giving, it's like you're always having everything. I mean, you don't need it. You really need it, really? And they keep throwing all kinds of hands at you, like you don't need anything. And you always have to come to a point of taking a stand, like, hey, enough, man, come on, you need to do something. Just like you mentioned with your cause just now, like you almost have to come to the point of saying, come on, man, stop that shit. What you doing? What's going on? So
Exactly.
my question is, why does it have to get to that point? Is it bad being a giver? I mean, are we doing something wrong with being a giver, or everybody should just go wild and be the opposite of that?
I think, like you say, it's. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it should have to get to that point, but it's hard for me personally to not be a giver. But everybody not wired the same. I think, like you say, everybody think that you got an abundance of things when you become a giver, like, or you always giving. They think it's just supposed to be there. But I don't know if it's easy for people to change that, or it's just some people wired a certain way.
See,
Maybe
I
it's
don't
just
see
sure. Wait,
I don't see nothing wrong with being a giver, but there has to be boundaries, right? Like I don't see how anyone, and this is probably going to be an unpopular opinion, but I absolutely don't believe that people don't know how to give back in return. I think people pick and choose who they want to return the favors and return love to. They kind of size you up. They because they know you, or they assume they know you, that they can treat you a certain way because of the type of relationship that they have with you, separate from everyone else. Your relationship with people on a job versus your relationship with your cousin might be completely different. They might value you in an entirely different way than your family do. And so because of that dynamic, people tend to use that to their advantage. And I've seen it happen plenty of times personally where I would pour into somebody, but they would treat somebody that they just met better than the person that was there before the person that they just met. How does that work? It's because I think people really just pick and choose who they want to invest in and who they don't want to, which is absolutely selfish and self-serving and childish to me.
It's absurd. I tell you, man, it's absurd. It's crazy. It definitely happened like that. I know a lot of people who, and they'll treat somebody like you say they just met way better than person that been with them, down with them, you know, holding them down and all that. So I think some people just, I think it's like a yearning for acceptance of outsiders sometimes.
I can see that. Because I mean, like if we being real here, if you're used to being around somebody so long, you kind of get stagnant and bored. If we're just talking about you and a partner or something, like I don't know if it's the same with women or not. I think they get bored way more easier than men do. Like I could be perfectly content with you until you start doing certain stuff that just is rubbing my spirit the wrong way. But with a lot of women, they just get bored because they need a constant fix. They need excitement. They need that roller coaster, that up and down. And when you're someone who's used to stability, that ain't gonna always work with them. And for whatever reason, you'd be surprised at how trifling some of these chicks is, man. Like really trifling to the point to where it's like I can't believe somebody like this is actually moving like that. But here's my thing. If you're telling me, I can understand if you're saying, look, this is just who I am. I can respect that. Then I'll just leave you the hell alone.
Right.
I won't waste my time here. But if you're masking it and you're acting as if this is who you are, and it really isn't, that's where I have a issue, because you're bringing your bullshit to my life and to everybody else connected to me. Because if I'm affected by what you're doing, it's gonna throw me off. But you don't care about that because you're getting out of this what you want, and I'm not. And like Patrick said, all it does is create this domino effect of drama, of misery, of anger, of resentment. You're not, now you're pissed off at her because you're giving more to her than she is you. How do you release all that anger and frustration? What do? Do you cut her off? Do you walk away from her? Or do you start doing little shady, underhanded stuff instead of just saying, look, man, I'm not feeling this. This ain't what I signed up for. Most people don't do that. They'll tolerate it and deal with it and try to make it work, when clearly it's showing you that you might need to go ahead and walk away from this. We stayed way too long in situations where things are not like this, and then we blame them 100% for all of it. Some of it we got to take on the chin too. We stayed. We let them continuously use us. We didn't draw the line. We didn't say, look, I'm good. This is enough. Take it or leave it.
My proposition is this, because when faced with situations, I like to go from a global perspective or something. I like to go a tad bit lower, like from the core of the nature of human being. So I think there's a natural tendency to misuse due to availability. So the more something is just there for you to pick, there's just this natural tendency to go and just abuse it because it's just there. It's almost as if it has no um, constraints of its own, like it has no use for itself until the person comes into his field and tell, oh, this is what to do with it. So there's just tendency to just misuse something that is just always there for you, even if it's wrong. Like me deciding to be there for you through thick and thin doesn't make me stupid. I'm not. I'm just there for this a spirit of camaraderie and just loyalty that's just within. Maybe it's just my kind of person, right? And just because I'm there, you tend to abuse that. Nah, he's always got my back. He's always going to be there for me. And when it's time for you to get my back, then there is nobody there, and you're not there. So it's kind of inverse, and it's annoying most of the time, to be honest. And I think it's just part of the natural flaw in the ego, in the ego's design, because you would want that and in puts in that same situation. You would want someone to stand for you because you're the guide, you're the stand-up guy that's always there for them when they need you. Hey, I need you, can you come through? And he's there for you and he's coming. And because you know he's always gonna be there. And when it's time when he needs your help, when it's time for him to call on you and pick on, oh, I need you to do this, and then be like, oh, I get the thing coming on. Oh. And there's all sorts of question excuses for whatever reason. And I feel at the bottom of that, when you trickle it down, it still ties down to the fact that regardless, you're just gonna be there for my own use or misuse. It's a twisted it's a twisted psychology in the ego, in the egoic consciousness. Because I mean something should have more value because it's available. I mean, that's what I say, that's just my worldview, right? Because the more you're there from when I need you, that's the most important thing you can do for me. I mean, you're there when I need you, you automatically become the most important thing, important person, never to be taken lightly or abused. Because when you're not there anymore for whatever role you're filling for me, then I'm going to suffer to some degree because I no longer have the access to you. But the general humans don't just think in those lights. They tend to think of, man, it's there, man. Just yeah, go get your copy, go get a share of them. Just keep taking, deplete this. I mean, it probably doesn't mind. It's okay. It doesn't care about it. So I think we should start approaching things from a boundary standpoint. Like I said earlier, okay, you're taking 50% of my energy. You need to start paying back or something. Because left unchecked, it's just going to keep spiraling without no yardstick or no control for it. It's a natural human flaw, I think. Somewhere up there, something's gone
I,
wrong.
see, I have a problem with if I have to tell you,
Then there's a problem.
that's the problem. Like I shouldn't have to tell you nothing. You should already automatically want to do it.
But I also think that sometimes we can get used to it being that way, and then you might have to step in and have that conversation and be like, okay, it's getting it's getting out of hand, or I've been giving you a lot of energy or a lot of time or a lot of this or that, and let me get something back. Or sometimes that conversation had to be had, because we could be able to let a person have us for as long as we want, and then we have to be like, okay, now I need this for something else, or because you might put your energy into that person for that long and you be okay with it. You know what I'm saying? You be like, okay, this is cool, I like this. But when the time is come for you to put your energy into something else and you've been giving that person so much, yeah, you'd be like, okay, let me use this energy for something else.
You know what I think in my experience with your approach to this, right? What happens is that you tend to be the bad guy. Oh, okay, now it's this. Now you're the bad guy because you're standing up for yourself and be like, whoa, well, now we ain't cool no more.
Right.
What's this part? That kind of situation. And you tend to be the bad guy when you take a stand. And it's just crazy. I mean, you've been depleting from me like the entire time and never ask a damn from you or whatever. And now I'm taking a stand, like enough of that. Then they get angry. Usually they get mad and be like, I mean, wow, why you gonna say that? Why you gonna act like that? I mean, I thought we cool. And be like, yeah, we cool. I'm just, it's getting old. You always extracting and never be there and never replenishing in any way. There's no reciprocity here. And but most of the time they get mad when you take a stand like that, as if it's their right to keep extracting from you with no recourse to you back. It's a crazy phenomenon to even think of sometimes.
Yeah.
I feel I just see things from a different perspective because for me, value comes from availability. But when we go to world economics, they use scarcity to crank up value, right? Because it's like money is a limited resource, so they make it money is valuable. You get also for money. You need to work, you need to do this because they make it. If it was everywhere, I mean, you don't need to go to work 9 to 5 and keep staying at some dead ass job you don't like, right? But if my approach to this is if it's available means makes it valuable because it's there when you need it. I know it's on the flip side, and I have a flip mind like that, right? But the world is just twisted. As long as that's the main ideology more proliferate out there, it just tells me there's something wrong because it's the same thing we're seeing in interpersonal relationships as well.
100%.
You want to touch on the one of the infidelity for a bit? Let me hear your perspective on
Yeah.
it.
For sure. I think me personally, I told my lady or any lady I've ever been with, if she ever feel like she needs to step out of the relationship, then it's over with for me. So I feel like, yeah, it's a double standard.
Exactly.
But I'm okay with it.
I mean, those are one of the double standards. I don't even think it's a privilege for guys or anything, but it's just because of the different makeup. You know, people always think relationship is symmetrical, but it's not. It's asymmetrical, which means what works for A is not what works for B. For example, how do guys act, right? You walk up to a lady, hey, you look good. I like what you put on and all that. Then you walk up, you do the active part of making the stand, right? But how do females flirt? They flirt themselves by making themselves available, giving coy smiles and just looking staring at you. They don't make the move, right?
Right.
So from the standpoint from the get-go, we are different and we approach relationships for different reasons and we want different things out of it. But these days there's a school of thought that keep preaching equality and this all that. It's not about it can never be that because we are not the same makeup. A
Exactly.
man is almost 10 times stronger physically for a reason than a female. So it can protect her. He's got broad shoulders, stronger view, tensile strength, and all those for a reason. So when danger arises, he can rise up to the occasion and do the needful. And the woman has the makeup she has for a specific reason as well. Nurturing, things that are more in tune to our makeup. So people approach relationship from this symmetrical standpoint, which is not, it's always asymmetrical. So I don't think in terms of infidelity rather, it's not the same thing. It's even it's a 100% deal breaker. It's non-negotiable. But if I do it, I mean, it takes a lot for me to even cheat. If you have to break down the cost, right? I got to look good, drive a nice car, earn certain amount of money. I got to be the proverbial big boy, and then I can go out and do woo any female I want. It takes skill. I have to
Or
say the
if
right
even
word.
or if even that, I think sometimes a man can also cheat just because the relationship, like we said in the other conversation, is based on energy being depleted so much, or the attention sometime, or things that's unwanted happening, or the woman might do something that triggers emotion, and then you have to go and look for something. You know what I'm saying? Like I think it's infidelity is a conversation more like for women because they care about it so much, whereas like
Yeah,
they be mad if a man go and cheat because they obviously know that we are valuable. They know that if they lose us, then they got to go find another man that provide them that safety, that structure, those things that they had in that relationship, making them a priority and things like that. I mean, we obviously are the prize, and then the woman is here to support the family that we build on top of what we doing.
Don't let them hear you say that shit. They gonna be pissed. They
I'm
always talk
already
about
knowing.
we the prize, we the prize. We give birth. We bring your children into the world. All right.
But we plant the seed, they be forgetting.
with the kid as
Yeah.
well.
And then on top of that, y'all sleeping with the same type of dude. It's not like you're going after every single guy that is out here. You're not dealing with $35,000 a year, man. You're all going after the same archetype of men, competing for whatever it is that they have that you think matches your list of this is my dream house, dream guy, fantasy, whatever the hell you want to call it. Personally, I say it like this: like marriage is sacred. If you're not married, all bets are off. But I would rather be the type to say, look, at this, especially at this age, I don't really trust women like that for real. I love y'all. But in the space that I'm in, I'm keeping it casual. I like you. We can hang out and things like that. I don't want to take it further than whatever it is we do here. If you're okay with that, cool. If not, cool. I will be dealing with other people. If you're all right with that, all right. That's where I'm at with it. Now, if I decide to take you serious over the other person, we'll revisit this. And then we'll decide if this is going to move forward or not. But no one's really doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know if I couldn't do infidelity. I can't even do emotional infidelity. Like you, I think that, matter of fact, let me ask this question. What's worse to you? A woman physically cheating or emotionally cheating?
Definitely emotional. I mean, when they do cheats, it's always emotional with you, with them, because for a guy, when a guy cheats, it could just, man, I like that ass, and that it could just be that. I mean, the boy is looking at, that's just it, right? But when a woman cheats emotionally, because they're visceral creatures like that. When they do cheat, they've gradually checked out of that relationship, of that union a while back, because they only can serve one master. Let me use it that way. I don't mean they're slaves, but I no chance, no. They can only serve one master faithfully, diligently at a time. So if she's with you and she's seeing someone else and she's not loyal and she's doing all those funny things, emotionally she's no longer in the relationship. She's left. That's it. Because they're emotional. They're the emotional creatures. So whatever they do, even when they do open up to you, it's always emotionally. So when she cheats, she's actually cheating emotionally. That means, and that's the crux of the relationship. So if the emotion isn't there anymore, then she's gone. What do we have? We only have the physical present there. If the emotions is gone from the relationship, then there's no relationship. So when she cheats, she's gone. There's no point she's begging and trying to work things out, because she's gone. She's just probably sad, or she's going to miss it, because it is what it is at the moment. But when she cheats, it's always emotional for them. They're not like guys that can handle two, three, four, five women, and because, oh, I like this one because, oh, she's pretty, she I then you like this because she just like, she's thick and all that. And we can like them for different reasons. Sometimes you genuinely, it's just pure love and you love this particular person like that. You really do love them. Sometimes it's like that. But other times, because we're very physical creatures and we'll really ascribe to what we see. And we see something like, she looks good. It doesn't mean that I do love her just because we had something. I might not love you. I mean, we had something, but I don't love you like that, like that. We just had something. It's a different situation. But for them, if they can get to the second level, third level with you and all that, it's always emotional. So when she cheats and she goes all the way to the end with it, even from the point of texting and being accessible, because that's how they flirt, right? They make themselves accessible and available. That's how they flirt. So from the point she's chatting with someone and she's doing those little giggles and stuff, the cheating has effectively began from there. So she started checking out of that relationship from that point, and you just was including on the information. And that's why for me it's a total deal breaker. And like you said, I do tell, like, look, if any day comes and you're tired and you no longer, it's okay, it's human to get tired of things and you don't feel the love no more. Just tell me, and no questions asked. You can check out, you can leave. It's fine, it's cool. You don't feel the love no more, it's fine. Just check out and I'll be good. I wish you all the best. Go, then I'll do my thing, you do your thing. But you're not going to get sneaky around me and try. You checked out months ago and I'm just discovering today that I've been dating myself in the relationship.
Yeah,
Come on.
man.
That's crazy. So for me, it's a mega big ass deal breaker. No forgiveness. No way. Because I know that's emotionally. It wasn't a physical thing.
Yeah. Cause I know God say forgive and all that, but man, I'll forgive you from a distance, but I'll let you go on your way.
Definitely.
I think it's women always is emotional. Like when it comes to infidelity, I don't think it's a way that they can be like a man with it. Yeah, I just don't think it's no way naturally that women is mechanically can not have emotions when they go and do what they do on the outside. Like, It's just got to be like that because their emotions tied into it. I mean, they were emotions tied into the relationship that they in at first. So if they checking out of that, then they checking out with their emotions in the same hand. So.
Straight up.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, it's just a waste of time. Especially the way the world is right now, the way these women moving out here.
Yeah, they different.
The requirements, how they talk, how they walk, how they dress. It's the guy we just spoke about, Travis Hunter. Everybody on his helmet about his fiance or his wife or whatever the hell.
Yeah, I've been seeing that too.
I don't. I said it. We talked about this last weekend. I was just saying like the dude gonna have to learn the hard way.
Exactly.
That's what's gonna happen. He young, right? And we was all his age before. People tried to tell us about certain stuff, and we just, man, I don't want to hear nothing from you. You old as hell. Why would I want? That's how. And the funny thing is, he got you watched Looney Tunes before, like Warner Brothers, like Wile E. Coyote would have all these little contraptions and shit trying to catch the. He got arrows, big ass arrows pointing at the red flag.
Yeah.
Literally, everybody on the internet is saying stop. He don't care. He not hearing it.
Because then it's still that stubbornness in our nature to be like, I gotta find out for myself. Like, I think it's, man, like you said, we was young. I had, we all went through the same thing, or maybe not, and we will have to go through it at one point, but we're gonna have to learn. You just gotta learn. And everybody just, putting their 2 cents in or whatever, paying attention to it, and it's blowing up because of the internet now, but it's no different than any other situation with any other homie out here.
Exactly. Thank you for saying that. I'm glad I'm not the only one that, like, my nigga. Everybody go through this shit. He not the first. He not gonna be the last. They just famous. They just on camera more. But everybody deal with it. And come on, we know what it is. It's the vagina. He's stuck on that.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted her for a very long time. He finally got her. And it don't matter what anybody say. He already created this image of who she is. As far as I'm concerned, let him figure it out the hard way.
Yeah.
It ain't my money. Shit.
Oh God.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
situation. I mean, you keep telling the guys making mistakes now. I think is probably got the baddest Instagram model and all that. But I mean, everybody's telling him he's making a mistake with that one. It's very obvious. Come on, I mean, it's written on the wall. But for some reason, it's probably stuck on love or whatever it is. But definitely, he's gonna learn. He'll come around someday and figure it out.
here's the thing though, right? All these dumbass athletes do the same shit.
Yeah.
All of them do it.
It never fails, man.
That's why I laugh at it, because it's like, what are we even talking about?
It ain't no different than when everybody was cycling through the Kardashian sisters. Everybody was saying, oh, they cursed. Man, they just messing with the same chick that everybody messed with that done messed them over. So they was going through them. And when I think the last story I heard was Devin Booker had one of the Kardashian sisters or somebody before him, whatever. It fall down, man. Or if it don't fall down, then they luck up and get out of that situation.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. recycling.
They could be doing this for the clout or something. I don't know.
That's what I was wondering too. Like,
yeah, there's a different other side to this. Maybe they're doing for the clout because I mean it's always the same story. You know, some athletes come up big, signs a major deal, then he's on with some Instagram model, then they're about to divorce and all sorts of stories. It always happens the same way. Probably there's a different angle to this.
Yeah.
If this is marketing, this is dirty as hell. Like, cause you got Dre Michelle, you got Brittany Renner, you got Superhead. The list go on of all of the women. They've all done it, and I think all of them have written books too, if I'm not mistaken. And then social media, they take the story, they chop it up, they make money off of it, they market it. Like it's like they are feeding themselves by keeping the algorithm talking about them, but also they're feeding content creators too. Either way, I'm not wifing none of them.
I don't know. I just hope old boy wise up, get his shit together.
He will when he walk in the room and one of his subordinates is laid up with him.
Oh yeah, I could see that happening too. I mean, writing on the wall for that. If it ain't happened already, he probably just ain't caught it.
There was a video that came out where she got caught leaving heart emojis in a basketball player or somebody's on one of their posts, and she took it down as soon as she posted it. How did you get out of that excuse? There ain't no way in the world. He said he been with her for 5 years. He's been with her for 5 years, and she moving like that. And then another video came out where, while they were in a relationship, she shot a secret music video with a rapper. I don't know.
I think the major part that got away was when she said he wasn't a type. It's never gets old. She came out and they're like, oh, because she was messaging, the message was stuck in the DMs, and she was saying, oh, he isn't a type. Then he still went and go with her. It's just crazy, man, because when she already took a position like that, like he isn't the type, and so that just says to me that he's done tons of bullshit to get her locked in that way. Spent tons of money, done tons of bullshit, and she's just managing his ass, you know, for the time being. And when she's extracted all the resources from him, then she just kick him off. Then he's going to go to social media and start saying all sort of bullshit. Oh, she's this, she's that. I mean, we've been saying this like way back. Like, I mean, she's not the type of person you want to take serious. Come on, that's obvious. But I don't know. Maybe he doesn't have good friends around him that could probably tell him what to do, what not to do, and give him better advice. Something.
Don't old boy got his pops in his life too?
I doubt that.
Yeah, that's what I feel like.
Yeah, I did say that. I mentioned this the last time. I doubt he grew up with a masculine.
Oh no, he grew up in a single mother house.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, look, man. I want to say thank you to everybody who pulled up this morning, man. I'm glad you could make it, bro. So you get a first hand feel for the stream. I appreciate you sharing your views on a lot of this. Hopefully, this isn't the last time we have you up here, Patrick. As always, man. Always a privilege and honor.
For sure, man. I appreciate y'all. This was cool too. Like, it's good to. I like to meet people like that think the same, or if not think the same, we can all hash out our ideas and come up with a solution. You know what I'm saying?
Is there, before we close out, is there anything that you want to say to the people? I typically just turn the mic over to everybody on the stream before we leave out. So, Patrick, Doe, if y'all have anything y'all want to say before we get out of here, you want to shout out your channels or anything you want people to follow you on, I give you the floor.
Yeah, you can reach out on Patrick Magic on all platforms. And I got a book coming out, All Things Being Equal, next year, and it's going to be what to read. So you just follow my social medias and all platforms, then I can keep you posted about it.
For sure, man. And I make a lot of music, a lot of good music. I'm trying to change this hip hop thing. So I appreciate it if y'all go check out the channel.
Is it rap? Is it rap music? Rap or R&B or?
Man, it's, to be honest, I rap and I sing, and I mean, I don't call myself a rapper. I just make hip hop.
Oh.
All right. Well, do me a solid, bro. Shoot me an email of all your links, anything you want me to post in the description box. So if anyone want to connect with you directly, it'll already be on the channel.
For sure. I got you.
All right, folks. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday, man. King Morning's Table. We about it here. I'll talk to y'all soon.
Y'all be safe.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close I, my ancestors speak, they tell me they're tired of them praying on us like we're weak. I haven't been getting sleep, longing to sing until I've surpassed peak, until they think we are equal. Please, all I want is peace. My ancestors beat drums until their palms would bleed, begging that generations remember our story.